It's obvious that this car is a track car and it has been tracked. So I'll also pop up a few pictures of this car in its stock form, because obviously, like I said, it was a normal B16 VTEC, but the spray job that was done is insane. As you guys can see, every window was removed, everything was basically removed, and it was done very professionally. Click. Okay guys, so it actually has been a week or two that I took delivery of my new Civic. I plan on giving you guys a quick walk around on the full car, interior, exterior, engine, mods, etc., as well as what is wrong with the car, as well as what I have planned for the car. And then also in future, please stay tuned to find out what actually happened to the S1000. Do I have the S1000? Did I sell the S1000? And then also guys, before we do start with this video, I do want to say a massive thanks to each and every one of you guys watching this video right now, as well as each and every one that has made a purchase via STM. Each and every one of you guys play a massive role in me actually getting this car. But without further ado, let's get started with the walk around on my new Civic. Okay guys, so this is my Civic. This is a 98 WONG'SPEC Honda VTEC. Yes, I did say VTEC. This is not a 150 body or 160i body. This is an actual VTEC. And I'll get into how you can actually see that it is a VTEC, even though obviously the interior is stripped and you can't really see anything. But let's start off with the front section of the car. So as you guys can see, there's a Mugen front lip. This is actually a poly lip, so it's very flexible. And then we have a Type R grille. We also have a fresh set of TYC headlights. So what you guys are seeing on this car is actually parts that I supplied this car. Before me actually owning the car, I supplied him with a few parts, and that is actually how I got the car. But I'll get more into that in the future. What I also did was I fitted these beadings as well, because there was actually no beadings on the car. And then moving to the side of the car, it has these carbon, I would call these wind deflectors. So these are pretty much aero mods, which basically push away the air and prevents air from going into the wheel well. So as you guys obviously know, on my EG I had the WONG'SPEC fenders that also pretty much kind of does a very similar job. The WONG'SPEC fenders just obviously releases air from the engine bay as well as the brakes, and also prevents turbulence, basically releasing air quicker. And then this is the wheel setup guys. So these are Falks and they are sitting on Bridgestone Potenzas. So these are pretty much semi slicks. I do plan on obviously changing this in future. This is only going to most likely be a setup for the track. And then moving to the side, we have some clear fender indicators. I think that the bottom of the side skirt was color match. That doesn't normally come like that. And then we have a crack in the windscreen. I don't know if you guys can see it. So that is pretty much one of the first problems we need to sort out. Another problem, or wouldn't say problem, but another thing I want to change would be obviously adding the wipers back onto the car. I do have a lot of the parts of the car as well. So as you guys can see, to save weight, this whole motor was removed as well as the wipers, etc. However, you guys have seen me remove my wipers on my EG before, just for a cleaner look as well. And I'll most likely rock that, but I am planning on maybe just fitting the wiper motor as well. And then while we're here, let's have a look at this little area over here. So as you guys can see, that is extremely clean. No rust. That is a massive reason why I actually went with this car. Let me show you guys this side as well. This is the other side of the car. Obviously it's identical to the driver's side. And then also, you can't not show you guys the floor of this car. This is something that really interests me about this car. and I hope you guys can actually see it, how clean the bottom of this car actually is. So the areas that you are seeing is obviously the seam sealer that maybe came off a little bit. This is also where the roll cage is mounted. So obviously the seam sealer or the sealer was removed in order for them to obviously weld the cage, etc. But then let's move to the rear of the car. So as you guys can see over here, we have a spoon carbon rear wing. This is insane. This is also a pretty rare part. However, this is also an item that I can supply as well. Already has the WONG'SPEC decals on it. And then let me just show you guys the rear of this car. So this is what I would say, obviously a track inspired rear bumper. They obviously cut out this little area over here so that the wind can flow through better. We also have a straight pipe. We have some PC coilovers. That is the DS version, which is meant for more track. It's not the street version. Got some color sway bars, and then also I think all the bushings on this car has been, you know, replaced with poly bushings, etc. This is the other side. And then also let me just get into this little damaged area over here. So I mean, it's obvious that this car is a track car and it has been tracked. So cool story about this is a guy from Cape Town drove on the Skibante track and then he kind of knocked the previous owner over here. But this damage is nothing. It's basically just a little nip over here. This is the only thing that kind of bothers me. But I mean, this isn't really damaged. This needs to be just sanded and basically sprayed. Unfortunately, it did damage this taillight, and this is actually Stanley semi-clears, guys. So this isn't the normal ones that, you know, everyone is kind of running. These are original Stanley semi-clears. So these come on the new specs. The old specs didn't really get them. So I plan on maybe just keeping these damages over here. The reason why that is because I actually think it's very cool that this is an actual track car and it has history behind it. And I think that two damages over here showcases that the car was an actual track car. Then this side over here, I'm going to kind of maybe blur it out, but this is going to be an area that we'll be discussing in future, because as you guys have seen in the delivery video, I picked up that this area was damaged, and I'll get into what has happened there. Like for example, was the damage done by the courier company, or was it damaged before, etc, etc. Okay, so what we also have here is a wiper delete for more weight reduction. And then you guys can see the cage over here. I'll show you guys the cage when I do get into the car. And then yeah, obviously Eastern Cape plates, that's where the car is from. And let me just give you guys another little walk around on the side. The side is perfect actually. Perfect. That's a little glimpse of the interior. So we'll get into the interior in a bit, guys. But what I also failed to mention, which is the obvious thing, is obviously the color of the car. So this car was resprayed, but the spray job that was done is insane, as you guys can see. Every window was removed, everything was basically removed, and it was done very professionally. And you guys know that I love red, and this color basically simulates the color of the EG, and that is what actually sold me on this car, besides the various other reasons why, and I'll get into that as well. To my understanding, this color of the car is New Formula Red or Roma Red, if I'm not mistaken. It's not the Milano. So I'll also pop up a few pictures of this car in its stock form, because obviously, like I said, it was a normal B16 VTEC. This was also a GP car, so that means the car was in Joburg, and as you guys know, Joburg is very dry and it doesn't have any sea. So this car pretty much has no rust at all. Not pretty much, it doesn't have any rust at all on this car. Actually, another thing I failed to show you guys is actually the rear hatch. So I'm going to get into that as well. But before we do, let me show you guys the interior of the Civic. Click. So as you guys have seen, There is pretty much no lock over here. I assume that's because of weight reduction. I asked for the lock. Apparently the lock was thrown away. So another thing I wanted to show you guys is how cool are these doors. How awesome is that? I think that is even better sounding than the G-Wagon. So the reason why I'm actually showing you guys is because the EK or the Civic hatch doors are way longer than the Ballards, and every Civic I've encountered either basically knocking against the lock and it like heats up and lifts the door, but this car doesn't have that issue at all. So I just thought I'd share that with you guys. That I think is a very cool thing about this car. But let's move on to some more cool things. So here we have the interior, guys. I'm going to start off with the steering wheel. So this is what they call a personal steering wheel. So to my understanding, this is an original personal steering wheel from Nardi. So as you guys know, Nardi is like more of a stance looking steering wheel with a hood or like some flashy steering wheel. And I think that this is actually the racing steering wheel.
If you look on the inside, two buttons, we've got the boost and the radio.
So that's why there's that personal there. This is an original steering wheel. Yes, it is being used and I'm fine with that. I plan on obviously changing the steering wheel. And then let's move on to the cluster. So the cluster is actually also very cool, guys. This is a CRV cluster. I think this is the first gen, if I'm not mistaken, but this is a CRV cluster and it only has 8 on it. So I really like that because the car revs beyond that, and I'll show you guys in a future video how the revs still over that, and this speedometer just shoots up. So I'm actually very happy with that. I think that's a very cool mod. Another cool thing about this is, as you guys can see, it is yellow and red. So that symbolizes the S2000. As you guys know, the S2000 has yellow digital clocks with a red line as well. So I think that is very cool. Then let's move to the bottom area. So there's a little metal plate over here, obviously for your feet. That obviously helps a little bit with pedaling, as well as it keeps structure here as well, because as you guys know, a lot of these Civics do not even have a floor here. They usually call it the Flintstone EKs. Stones, meet the Flintstones, they're the modern Stone Age family. And then another noticeable thing, guys, is obviously this rubberized flooring. So this is actually being rubberized right through the whole car on the roll cage as well. In all honesty, not the biggest fan. I do plan on actually trying to figure out a way to remove this, especially on the roll cage. The flooring I might leave because I might just add a mat into the car as well. And then also, guys, let's move further to this side. So as you guys can see over here, I do have a hybrid racing shifter mount as well as a body club shifter. Also has a little Mugen gear knob on there. So this kind of gives you an idea as to what is going on in the engine bay, but we'll get into that soon. Over here I have my wideband sensor, and then also I just have a little voltage gauge, and then some carbon covers basically to cover this little area. So as you guys know, you'll have the climate control there, you'll have your clock over there, and then you'll have your tape over here. So that's obviously all removed. And then I would say the only thing that basically shows that this is a VTEC would actually be the dash. So the dash is a little darker compared to your average Civic or your 180i or your 150i, etc. So in future I actually do plan on getting the panels, etc. Also in VTEC, so they can match everything. Hopefully they will fit with this cage, so fingers crossed for that. And then let's move on, guys. Yeah, I have my battery with a Cusco battery clamp. Then there's a little hole over there which I actually never knew that EKs had, and I actually speak about that a little bit further in a future video. But this little hole over here is not open on that side, but it's open on this side. So I assume when a car gets wet, whatever the case may be, that's like a drainage type of a thing. And I do show you guys this thing underneath the car, how it's actually structured. But I've never encountered this because I obviously never really saw an EK without the mat, and I've also never seen really an EK with a floor here. LOL.
Felt something hit my feet, and look at this.
Okay guys, then moving forward to my roll cage. So this is a 6-point roll cage. Obviously 1 point over here, 1 point over there, 1 point over there, 1 point over here, and 1 point over there, and 1 point over there, which makes it 6 in total. So this roll cage is actually a MSA approved roll cage, so that's actually very cool as well. I actually really wanted to do this to my EG and obviously run the roll cage. I would have maybe gone a little further and gone down in the dash and added the intrusion bars. That is something I'll be doing in future as well. Let me just climb in here at the back, show you guys the rear. Very, very clean. You guys can see the BCs a little bit better as well. I'm really not a fan of this, but I think that it is a cool thing to be done for a track car, because it obviously helps with durability. You can throw anything in here and it won't really damage. But I might just remove this and obviously have it sprayed, because that is something I wanted to do to the EG as well. So this is very cool. And then obviously let's get into these seats over here. So this seat he bought just before the sale. So to sweeten the deal, he kept his seat, which I think it was another FIA approved seat. I'm gonna butcher the name now, but it's called a Corbet or something like that. I'll put the correct name of the seat in this video. I know the seat was worth like 18,000, so that obviously sweetened the deal a little bit better as well. So yeah, that is the interior of the car. So another thing cool about the exterior, guys, is as you can see over here, all the windows are still its original windows. It still has its Honda badging on every window. I think that the front window does need to be replaced. So there's another Honda badge, here's a Honda badge, and then there's another Honda badge. So that's also something cool I thought I'd share with you guys. So let's move over to what is actually in the engine bay. So once again, click. Okay guys, so here we have it. This is one of the main reasons why I actually bought this car. So as you guys can see, this car is case swapped. Okay guys, so I'm going to end off the video here. The video has been a very lengthy video. I also plan on kind of shortening all my videos. In the next video, we are going to get into what is all done to my Civic, as well as some pulls, and then also what is wrong with the Civic, what do we plan on doing to fix it, what is the future plans for the Civic, as well as why I bought the Civic, as well as a closer look at the bottom of the car. I'm pretty much going to have the car on a lift and show you guys the whole bottom of the car and show you guys all the parts that has been done to this car. So I apologize for that, but please stay tuned for the next video. Please subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, tell me what you guys think of my Civic, and then once again, thanks to each and every one of you guys for subscribing to the channel and supporting STM. Peace.